Hey, Shalom Israel, you live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. All you brothers and sisters tuning in, you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Get them in contact with the ISUPK. The address here to the school in Memphis is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Again, 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. We have classes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 to 8. The call-in number to the school is 901-285. No, man. What is the call-in number to the school? That's ridiculous. Hold on. See, I don't call the number to the school myself. That's why I don't be remembering the call-in number. And I don't have flyers with me right now. Man, hold on. All you gotta do is just Google ISUPK Memphis, and it'll come up in the Google machine. Google ISUPK Memphis, the calling number. Okay. Why is that the calling number? Google ain't got the right calling number. Hold on now. Goddamn. Since when is that number? 901-249-0085. Calling numbers 901-249-0085 is the calling number to the Memphis school. You brothers and sisters out there, you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Get them in contact with the ISUPK. Since 1969, we have been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2023, there is nothing more important than for God's chosen people to find out the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is here on the streets. All right. Um, Having said that, what I'd like to do with these classes is give brothers and sisters an opportunity to go into this book called the Bible, to gain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has placed inside of this book, so that we can come back to being the people that the Most High called us to be. You understand? And coming back to the people that the Most High called us to be, particularly when it comes to studying the Bible and learning the truth, has a lot to do with a self-awareness, man. I'm so thankful to the Most High for the ISUPK and Commander General Yohana, for the years of my life that I was spared the confusion and the uncertainty of my place in this world. When I came into the truth, man, I was a brother who was very much searching for, where I belonged, and had got caught up in trying to find my way out of the oppression of America. And there are many different paths that you can travel down trying to find your way out of the oppression of America that will leave you just feeling hopeless. There's a lot of brothers and sisters out there who have not been fortunate enough to learn the truth, who haven't been fortunate enough to find the path of righteousness that'll truly give them the opportunity to become free and to wake up and to become brand new and to escape the perils of life in this, oppressive system. There's a lot of brothers and sisters take the religious route. They go into Christianity, they go into Islam, they learn about these, religious practices that are ancient and go back, many, many years. But when you go down the path of religion, ultimately you're going down the path of manipulation and subjugation under one nation or another. You go down the path of Christianity, you are going to come to the conclusion that you are subservient to the white race, and that God put you here to serve them and to be under them and to be, um, stay in line, so to speak, in being what Christianity creates a man or a woman to be. You go into Islam, you may learn some things there. You'll learn to speak Arabic and pray in Arabic. You'll learn the history of the Arabic people and Muhammad and all of these things. But ultimately, at the end of that road, is subjugation under another nation of people. You understand? Also, there's a lot of idol worship and things that come along with that Islam. You understand? There's a lot of lawlessness and a lot of hypocrisy that comes with those religions. The same thing goes for all the other religions. You go into Buddhism, you go into Hinduism, hell, you go into atheism, you go into yoga. There's all these different paths that are religious and spiritual in nature that leads you to just becoming subjugated under someone else. If you take the path of chasing after money and chasing after riches and wealth to be able to get rich enough to no longer be oppressed, to get rich enough to no longer be treated like just another nigga, well, that just leads you down the path of ultimately, not having any integrity, not having any honor. And what comes along with not having any integrity and honor, which plays into the hands of your oppressor, is really not being able to be an advocate and a caretaker for your people out of fear of losing your money, of losing your status. You understand? Some people bow out of the system. They become a rebel. They take the rebel path of avoiding oppression. And they won't, they in their minds are counterculture or against the system. But when you become a drug dealer, when you become a pimp, when you become a thug, when you become somebody who lives lawlessly, then ultimately you're playing right into the hands of the oppressor, because that is what their grand design is to frustrate you, um, and to oppress you out of a life of righteousness, away from a path of morality, away from a path of having discipline and having focus and knowledge of self. And so you end up crashing out if you go to rebel route and end up in jail or end up dead or end up um, serving your oppressor and helping destroy your people. There's only one path, man, that really can lead you to freedom and can lead you away from the design that the oppressor has established, and that is to serve the Most High in the truth. But serving the Most High in the truth, it's not the easy path to find, and it's not the easy path to walk on. You understand? With tonight's class, the title is Inside the Belly of the Beast. You understand? So what we want to discuss tonight concerning being inside the belly of the beast is the experiences and the warnings that the Bible gives us of the people, of our people from the past who were in the same situations and circumstances that we are in today. Make no mistake about it, man. If you live in America in 2023, you are living inside of the belly of the beast. You are right here in the home of where all the oppression of the earth is centered. You are inside of the place where the legislation and the legal decisions get made for all of the demons and all of the things that go against the Most High to be influenced and to be pushed and to be forced into the earth. And so the experience of the people who have lived here in this country and grown up in this land and know firsthand the multiple ways that the devil is a deceiver and a liar and a murderer and a thief and a killer gives us a unique perspective from the rest of the world. To the rest of the world, America represents something that is very different than the reality of being in America. To the rest of the world, America represents something that is can't really be seen until you get here and you're up close on it. And no one has the firsthand experience and the up close encounter with the nature of these people, like so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And it was the same for us during the days of the Egyptians, also in the New Testament, in the book of Hebrews and the book of Romans. So that's what we're going to go into today. We're going to go into some scriptures to show you that the same way we have been allowed by the Lord to have a firsthand account, firsthand witness of just how disgusting and evil and wicked and sinister these people are, our ancestors were in those same places thousands of years ago, and they left records for us to be able to understand what we're learning now. They learned it too. All right. With that being said, if anybody have any questions, all you gotta do is type them in. We don't have any questions. We're gonna go ahead and get right into the topic. All right. I'll give y'all a few seconds to come with any questions, and then we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it. All right. Um. All right. All right. All right. No questions. So first scripture we're gonna go into is Matthew the seventh chapter, and these are words of our King Yahushua, who the world calls Christ. We're gonna go ahead and get some scriptures. Get a scripture from Christ concerning that path that I talked about in the beginning that leads to us being free and not falling a victim to the circumstances and the traps that have been set by our oppressors. All right. All right. This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. It says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat." You understand? Finding your way out of the oppression of America, there are a lot of different paths you can take. I talked about the religious path, getting caught up in Islam and Christianity and Buddhism and Hinduism, all of these different religions and spiritualities that lead you to being second class citizens under another nation of people who are going to do nothing but oppress and take advantage of you. That is a trap. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the wide gate. You're somebody who says, you know what, I'm gonna get out of oppression in America. I'm just gonna give me some money. I'm gonna get me a job. I'm gonna go get me a college degree, and I'm gonna make so much money that I can't be oppressed. What ends up happening is you still gonna be just a nigga to these devils out here. And when you get so much money, you get to a place where now that money can be used against you to threaten you with poverty. And a lot of rich people, there's a lot of black people, a lot of Hispanic and Native Indian people who have gotten rich, who have gotten wealthy. And because they get so rich and wealthy, they could no longer help their people. Because if they extend themselves too much to helping their people, they're gonna lose that money. And so that's another trap that you can get caught into in this world as you try to escape oppression by getting so much money. Then you get enough money that now the money oppresses you because you can't do what's in your heart's desire, which is to look out for your people. And so you lose your honor and your integrity and your morality behind chasing after money. Then there's the other path that a lot of people take, which is to just rebel. Hell, the oppressor doesn't love me. There's nothing for me to be had in this system. I'll just rebel against the system, man. I'm just gonna hustle. I'm gonna get money. I'm gonna get high. I'm gonna get hoes. I'm gonna be that nigga. But guess what? You playing right into the oppressor's hand because that's what he wants you to be. He wants you to be a nigga that rebels and gets money and has hoes and stunts on niggas and do it big. So that what now you can be used as a weapon against your people, you understand, for setting the evil example and the evil precedent. And it makes the oppressor be able to come and lock you down, come and throw you in prison, come and make an example out of you that when you take this route, this is what happens to you. And so all these different ways of trying to escape oppression, our oppressor has considered them and has laid traps at every step of the way. That's why broad is the way and wide is the gate that leads to destruction. But there is one way that you can escape this hell. There is one way that you can find your way out of the belly of this beast, but you have to walk in through the straight gate. Matthew 7 and 14. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leads unto life, and few there be that find it. Only a few find themselves onto this path that leads to life. Verse 15, beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. What else are you going to encounter in this oppression? You're going to encounter wolves in sheep's clothing. People who come to you speaking kind and speaking nice and brother and sister and love, and when really they're just trying to devour you. They're trying to lull you to sleep so that you don't see their fangs and their claws ready to rob and steal and murder and kill and take everything that makes you the person the Lord called you to be. Verse 16. Now, so what do we do knowing that we're in this place where there are wolves that are in sheep's clothing? Verse 16. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree brings forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree brings forth evil fruit. So here's how you avoid a wolf in sheep's clothing. Don't believe nothing they say. You take what someone says in one ear and out the other. So how do you judge them? How do you know whether this is a wolf or a sheep? You watch their actions. You watch what they do. And that's the thing that rings true about life and oppression today as it always has been on the earth. Don't believe what nobody say, man. You believe their actions. Believe what they show you. And here in America, if you watch someone's actions, you can know who is serving the Lord and who is not. You can know who loves black people and who doesn't. You can know who truly has a genuine spirit and really is trying to find their way out of this hell, and who is just trying to carve out a piece of this hell for themselves so that they can enjoy and partake in it. Christ said, you're going to know them by their fruit. A man that wants to go gather, this is the example in verse 16. If a man goes to gather grapes, he don't pick up thorns. If you love grapes, why are you getting all them? Why those thorns in the basket? You're going to go grab figs. You don't take the thorn. You don't take the thistles with you. Thistles is another thing that was on a fig tree. The things that stick you and poke you. Someone who's truly out to do good, they gather the grapes and leave the thorns, man. They wouldn't leave thorns in there to poke you and you're going to go get your fruit. Imagine you go to the grocery store, you go to get some grapes, you reach into the grape bag and there's thorns in there. Man, who the hell put these thorns in here? Somebody who meant to do you harm. Somebody who wanted to lull you into buying grapes, but really just wanted to cut you up and scratch you and make you bleed. Why is there thistles in all these figs? Because the nigga who gave you them figs wanted you to hurt yourself, wanted you to be in pain. That's the example that Christ used to let us know how to discern a false prophet. Verse 19. Every tree that brings not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. So that's a warning there for all of the evil trees out there, for everything that brings forth evil fruit. And it's not easy when you first come into the truth, but it's absolutely necessary for you to recognize and understand that, man, I'll say everybody outside the ISUPK, their tree is evil. The fruit they bring forth is evil. You understand? I remember before I came into the truth, there was a saying that I heard that, 99% of the truth and 1% of the lie of a lie is still just a lie. You understand? So when we're dealing in righteousness and we're dealing in wickedness, we can only deal in absolutes. It's a beautiful thing about the Bible and a beautiful way about the Most High is that there is no gray area. There is no objectivity. Everything is, there's no subjectivity. Everything is objective. Either you're righteous or you're wicked. Either you're somebody who does what the Lord says or you're a hypocrite. There is no in between. There is no way, I did this good and then nah, you're just evil. You're just wicked. You're just weak. And the Lord does not accept weakness. He does not accept excuses. He only accepts what is pleasing to him. And what it is that he requires is not very difficult for us to give him. But again, that straight gate is very narrow. That path is very tight. And there's not very many that find themselves on it. And then when you find yourself on it, there's fewer people who remain walking in it. Damn, power. Internet ain't going out. That's the reality of life inside the belly of the beast. Everybody understands. We move forward, all right? So now we're gonna go ahead and get into these scriptures. Go ahead and get into the New Testament, the book of Exodus, all right? Again, we're gonna go into the book of Exodus. We're gonna also go into the book of Romans, and we're gonna go into the book of Hebrews, all right? So we plan on getting to tonight. Um, let me go ahead and get um No. All right, we're gonna get the book of Exodus. I'm gonna show you. Going to show you segregation. Show you segregation in Egypt. All right. It says Genesis chapter 46. Genesis 46. Okay. Get Genesis 46 and 34. All right. Genesis 36 and 46 and 34. Now, when we came into the land of Egypt, Joseph was already implanted in the Egyptian society and the Egyptian culture. Joseph was a brother who had high status in Egypt. And what Joseph understood about the Egyptians is that the Egyptians were absolutely racist. You understand? They were racist, they were supremacist. And so, to protect the children of Israel, Joseph gave us instructions when it came to how we dealt with these Egyptians. And he gave us instructions so that we would deal with the Egyptians in a way where we would understand that there was a difference between us and them. Everybody understands? This is Genesis 46 and 34. It says that ye shall say, thy servant's trade has been about cattle from our youth, even until now, both we and also our fathers, that ye may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Everybody understands? Joseph understood that for the children of Israel to be able to thrive, we were going to need to have our own land. And so he knew there was a land called Goshen that was available for us to be able to occupy. And it was a land that was intended for shepherds to dwell. So he said, when you go before the Egyptians, man, you tell them we are shepherds. Us and our father, we've always been shepherds, so that the Egyptians would put you in a place by yourselves because the Egyptians hate shepherds. You understand? The Egyptians hated shepherds the same way in America today. They hate everything that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are about. You understand? Everything about your culture, your way of life, the way that you come together as family, the way that you commune with one another, the way that we build and we look out for each other. The white man hates all of that. They hate our music. They hate our dancing. They hate our celebrating. They hate our worship of God. They hate the way that we look out for each other and take care of one another. To them, we are the same as what the Egyptians looked at the shepherds as. And the same way that Joseph tried to provide a place for us to be separate from them, that is what is desired today. Desired by the oppressor, and it should be desired by us, because why would you want to be in close proximity to a people who hate everything that you are about? Everybody understands. Now, what are some examples of this being seen in the Bible? Let me get the scripture I'm looking for. I can't find it, but it's where the Egyptians did not want to sit with Joseph. Okay, here we go. This is Genesis 43 and 32. All right. All right. All right. This is Genesis 43 and 32. All right. This is when Joseph gathered his brothers together to have a feast, right? So as they're going to have a feast, again, Joseph was a man who was very prominent, had a lot of power in Egypt. But as he goes to sit down and have this banquet with Egyptians and with Hebrews, let's see what the Bible says. Genesis 43 and 32. It says, and they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians. Meaning, this is how they set up the banquet. They set it up for Joseph to be by himself. They set it up for the Hebrews to be by themselves, and they set up for the Egyptians, which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat with Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. In the belly of the beast in Egypt, there was segregation. When he came together in a banquet to eat, the Egyptians sat by themselves, and everybody else had to sit with their people, because everybody sitting and eating together was an abomination to the Egyptians. You understand? The same way it's an abomination to your oppressor here in America. America has never been more open with its true feelings than it was during the days of that so-called civil rights movement. Those days of that civil rights movement, when these people showed us who they were, we should have accepted that. We should have just saw it and said, damn, we didn't know it was that serious. Okay, no problem, man. Y'all got it. Y'all keep y'all stuff. We're gonna do our thing, and we'll just build separately. And if it wasn't for evil trees, if it wasn't for false prophets, if it wasn't for people looking to take advantage of our love and our kindness, then we would have known to stay separated from these people. If we would have just picked up the Bible and read the Bible, we would have known to stay separated from these oppressors. But because there was no one teaching these lessons of the Lord to us as a people, then we got devoured, we got deceived, we got caught up in the lies of the oppressor, and we've seen what the end result was. You understand? But here, all the way back in the book of Genesis, during the days of the Egyptians, we see the experiences of our ancestors in a place where they could only be second-class citizens. In a place where they could never be loved and accepted. The best that they could hope for was to be isolated. And that is where we find ourselves here in 2023. And the Most High is trying to pave a way for us to have Goshen the way we did in the land of Egypt. He's trying hard to pave a way for us to escape and to get away from this oppressor. You look at what's going on in Florida right now with the governor DeSantis passing the anti-immigration bill. All of those brothers and sisters who are from those Hispanic countries, they are fleeing Florida now. Where they gonna go? They're coming to Tennessee. They're coming to Georgia. They're coming to Alabama. They're coming to Mississippi. What if we were prepared to receive them? What if we were prepared to acknowledge them as our brothers and as our sisters, and to provide a safe haven for them to be able to escape this oppression? What if we were able to do what the Lord said to do, which was to gather together? There's enough land in this country for us to be able to carve out a piece for ourselves. But we won't be able to do it unless we find our way to serving the Lord while being inside of the belly of this beast. All right. Let me get uh, let's jump that in Exodus right quick. We're gonna get out of Genesis and go into the book of Romans. All right. Let's go into the book of Romans. Because what's heavy in the book of Romans is just how far from the knowledge of our from the self-awareness of who we were, our people had fallen during the time of these Romans. And Paul talks a lot. There's many different places in the book of Romans where Paul speaks about being an Israelite, but not living as an Israelite. And that is very much the experience that we have here in America because of all of the various identities that we have had for ourselves in this place. It's very difficult to live in America and be black, period. There wasn't nothing profound coming after that. It's hard to be black in America. The reason why it's hard to be black in America is because being black isn't defined. So, because being black isn't defined in America, for a large part of your life, you are trying to find who you are. And to find who you are is a daunting task in and of itself. But it becomes especially difficult when there's someone at every turn trying to tell you who you are. It would be one thing if we just was trying to find out who we are, and it was just a quest that we all were on individually. And you make that quest, and you go and search and research and find. But there's always someone trying to tell you what it means to be black. Especially in today's times, you go on that internet, man. There are black conservative Republicans that are trying to tell you that this is what it means to be black. There's this bitch named Candace Owens that's out there. There's another guy online. I don't know how this nigga ended up in my YouTube algorithm, but there's some nigga. His name is like Sergeant McGruff or some shit. Some black guy who does these social commentary videos where he laughs at black people who talk about race in this country. As if, bringing up being black or bringing up the issues of black people somehow preposterous or ridiculous, or you niggas are living in the past. And it's like, how you black in America and you don't see that it needs to be talked about all the evil that happened to us? So to be black and to, embrace blackness in America, we should never talk about race. We should never talk about color. We should just be good Americans and just, how is that possible, my nigga? So if you black in America, you get those types of people. Then you get the other side, which I think may be worse. That's telling you because you're black, you're a victim, and you should pander to this government, and you should expect white people to give you a handout, and you're so downtrodden and despondent. You should also pick up yourself by your bootstraps and go to college and get a degree and get a job. Don't be mad at America, but also it's so sad what we did to you, and it is kind of messed up. And yeah, there should be reparations, and you have white people pandering to you. Outside of those two, you have people telling you that black is great and black is, everything, and black is the roots of everything, and all the mother of all civilization and life comes from Africa. Then you get Africans trying to tell you what it means to be black. But then when you go to Africa or you go and investigate African culture, there's plates and lips, there's rings around necks, there's baths under cow urine and cow feces, there's cutting off of women's clitoris, there's, buying a woman for 3 goats from her father. There's all kinds of stuff going on in Africa that I know for a fact you black people is not with that shit. Excuse my language. You may say you love the motherland and red, black, and green, but you is not with none of that African shit. Even the Pan-Africanists. Go where Dr. Umar at. Ask Dr. Umar why he not over there in West Africa living a good West African life. How come he ain't over there in the culture with you know, the Tutsis and the Watusus and the Majubis? Go live how they live it. Why you not doing what they doing? You want to be black in America, but you want to be African at the same time. You got to pick a battle. But again, all of these different paths never lead us to finding the truth. And when we're presented with the one path that'll lead us to freedom, all of those other paths try to stand in the way as opposition. Everybody understand? Excuse me. So we're going to go in the book of Romans and show you some of that turmoil taking place here. All right? Bear with me. We're going to book of Romans and the book of Hebrews, all right? All right. All right. Hold on. There's a lot here in Romans. I'm just trying to get to the point that I wanted to bring out in this class. All right. So y'all just bear with me. All right. All right. Hold on. Let's get Romans chapter 12. Romans 12 and verse 1. All right. Let's start with Romans 12 and 1. So there's a ton in this book of Romans, but I don't want to get bogged down because there's a lot of Romans. You read one part, you got to damn near read the whole chapter. So I don't want to get caught up in any of that. So we're just gonna start here in Romans chapter 12 and verse 1 again. This is Paul describing what it takes to escape out of oppression when you're living in the belly of the beast. Everybody understands? In the book of Romans, Paul is speaking to Israelites who are living in Rome. During the days of Paul, Rome was the capital of white society. It was the capital city where all the devils were. Everybody understands? Rome today would be like living in America. We live in a global system today. The whole earth is in communication and united with one another. But where's the headquarters of the people who are in charge of this global system? They are here in America. Everybody understand? So America is Rome. And if you want to go inside of America, Washington, D.C., New York City, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, these major metropolitan areas in this country are cities that are likened unto Rome. Everybody understands? So here we go. Romans chapter 12, verse 1. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. What is Paul saying here? He's begging these brothers that by the mercies of the Most High, they present their bodies a living sacrifice. What does that mean? While you're living in this land of this oppression, you are going to have to sacrifice yourself. Sacrifice what? Sacrifice the fun. Sacrifice the freedom. Sacrifice your, what do they call it? Free will. You understand? What your oppressor presents to you as freedom and free will is really your ability to decide to sin. That is the only free will that is available to you in America. You have the freedom to obey God or the freedom to sin against him. And they make it seem as though free will is some amazing, wonderful thing where you have just a million choices of what to choose to do in life. The reality of life is there's only two choices. I'm going to serve God and live. I'm going to disobey God and die.
Right.
Paul is saying, present yourself, your body's a living sacrifice. Meaning what? You have to choose to serve the Lord. Regardless of what it is that you desire to go against the Lord, you have to choose to serve him. And so every day of your life, you have to live it sacrificing. Man, I like that woman, and she like me. She has a husband. Even though she don't know that's her husband, she's having sex with a man, and I know that she's having sex with a man. And I know if I have sex with her, the Lord is going to kill me. So guess what? I have to not have sex with that woman. I gotta say, what's just, you beautiful, and I know, you like me, and under different circumstances, maybe we could make something happen. But you have a husband, sis, and there's nothing that I can do with that. Lord be with you. Everybody understand? And you might meet a woman and have a good connection. You ask her, so where your people from? Where your father from? She said her father Nigerian. Ugh. Lord be with you. It was nice meeting you. I gotta go. I'm going, no, I got something just came up. I gotta leave. We was having such a nice time. Yeah, I know. I gotta go. Cause she's Nigerian, she's an African.
Right.
Or her daddy's Irish, or whatever the case may be. I'm just using the women example because that's one that comes up a lot. Hell, some of you out there struggling with smoking weed, struggling with popping pills. Some of you out there, your struggle may be give me some more. You grew up eating shrimp, eating crabs. Your family do seafood boils, and the food's so good. You have got to learn that that diet that you have is the reason, why your life is the way that it is. You're gonna have to give up eating those unlawful foods and give up celebrating those birthdays and give up that Thanksgiving and that Christmas and that Easter that you love to gather with your family so much, where everybody gets shot and people die in the streets. You wonder why there's shootings and death every holiday. Is because the Lord said we're not supposed to partake in those things. But it's not easy for you to sacrifice every day of your life. But it's absolutely required. Everybody understands? So that you can present yourself holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. It's very reasonable for you to sacrifice every day of your life to obey the Lord. Verse 2, and be not conformed to this world. You understand? You've got to fight every day not to be conformed to this world. Don't be what the world has made you to be. A lot of us have experienced great difficulty in our lives. All of us have gone through some type of trauma. We have coping mechanisms that we've developed from our childhood that enabled us to be able to be protected and to be able to stand up for ourselves and to be able to fight and to be able to, be ready to risk it all for a little disrespect. Guess what? You're going to have to not be conformed to this world. You're going to have to fight against all those things that you have ingrained in yourself in order to be protected in this evil world. You've got to resist it now. You've got to become brand new. You've got to become what the Lord called you to be in order for you to make it in his world, in order for you to live the life that he requires of you. You cannot be conformed to this world. You understand? But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have got to transform yourself. How? By renewing your mind. By being taught how to think again. Being taught how to view the world. Being taught how to view yourself. You have got to transform yourself by changing the way that you think about everything. Your thoughts now have to become the Lord's thoughts. Your desires have to become the Lord's desires. Your will has to become the Lord's will. That ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Now, what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God? What does the Most High want for us? What is his will for our lives? His will is that we would obey him and prosper. His will is that we would obey him and receive all the blessings and all the good things that he has in store for us. His will is that we will obey him and fight when the time comes, and struggle when the time comes, and endure when the time comes, so that in the end, we can prove that we deserve everything he's given to us. Everybody understand? I'm going to read on a little bit more. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly according as God has dealt to every man the measure of faith. Everybody understand? Don't think that you are above serving the Lord. Don't think that you are above transforming yourself. Don't think that you are above starting over again. But also understand that to each of us was given a different measure of faith. I thank the Most High that he gave me the faith that I needed to transform my life when I did. That he gave me the measure of faith that I needed to be able to turn my back on everything that I thought meant something to me at that time when I was in the world. And you should pray that the Lord has given you that faith as well. Not everybody has that faith. Not everybody can give up everything. Not everybody can turn their back on the world and the people in the world. Not everybody is willing to sacrifice everything in order to receive what it is the Lord has in store for them. But to each of us, there was given a measure of faith. Everybody understands. And guess what? We are all going to be rewarded on our faith. We're going to be rewarded on what it is that we're willing to sacrifice and what we're willing to give up. If you ain't willing to give up everything, then guess what? You're not going to get everything. If you're not willing to risk it all, then guess what? You're not going to be able to receive it all. If you're not willing to, if there's anything that you're willing to hold back on, well, then there's something the Lord going to hold back on you. Everybody understands? Let's go ahead and drop that. Let me get Romans the 13th chapter. All right? So that right there, Romans the 12 was talking about what needs we all have. I mean, the work that's required in order for us to escape out of this oppression. What's needed inside of us in order to be able to find our way onto that straight path. And it's not a very easy thing, but like Romans 12:1 said, it is your reasonable service. Everybody understands? Romans the 13th chapter talks about the police brutality. It talks about being under an oppressive system where they are out to murder you, out to kill you. And this is an experience that we had during the days of the Romans. It is something that we are experiencing today, and it is something that we experienced during the days of captivity in Egypt. Everybody understands? Romans chapter 13, verse 1. Understand as I'm reading this is about police brutality. And police brutality is absolutely warned against in the Bible. And there is a way for you to avoid being brutalized by the police. And the only way to avoid it is to serve the Lord. Now, understand this. Reading this does not make our oppressor guiltless in being an oppressor. But from the perspective of the men of God, this is absolutely a warning to those who refuse to obey the Lord, that if you don't want to obey the Lord, you're going to have to deal with this oppressor. Right. It's much better for you to deal with the Most High than to have to deal with these devils, because when you deal with these devils, it's no holds barred. At least when you're dealing with the Most High can be merciful. But if you got to deal with these devils, then you got to deal with the devil. Everybody understands? This is Romans chapter 13, verse 1. All of this I'm about to run down explains police brutality. All right. Romans 13 and 1 says, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High. Everybody understands? What is this saying? Let everybody be subject to those who are in authority. Everybody understands? For there is no authority that doesn't come from God. And the authorities that be are ordained by God. What is that talking about? That is talking about the United States government. That is talking about the state troopers, the police department, the CIA, the DEA, the FBI. They are the authorities here in America. And everybody should be subject to their authority. Let's keep reading. As it's saying, just do whatever they tell you to do. Just follow whatever instructions they give you. Just shut your mouth and do what the white man tells you to do. Is that what this is saying? Let's keep reading. Whosoever therefore resists the power resists the ordinance of God. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. What does it mean to resist the power? How do you resist against authority? You resist against authority by rebelling against authority. Everybody understand? America has laws, and there are no laws in America that cause you to sin against God. Hear what I'm saying? There are laws in America. There is no law in America that if you obey that law, you will be in conflict against God. The thing about the laws in America, some laws are passed to give people certain freedoms. Other laws are passed to restrict certain people's behaviors. There are no laws, though, that force you to disobey God. So there is a way that you can obey all the laws of America and also not disobey God. Whatever those laws are, you should obey them. There's a law that says you should wear a seatbelt when you drive in your car. Guess what? You get in your car, put your goddamn seatbelt on. When you're driving on the road, there are rules on the road that say don't drive. If signs say 55, don't drive over 55 miles an hour. Guess what? You shouldn't drive over 55. There's lights on the road that say if you see red, you should stop. When you see red, you should stop. Everybody understand? If you follow all those rules, guess what? You're never disobeying God. But there's some people that say, F those rules, man. I don't need this seatbelt. To hell with the speed limit. To hell with these lights. Well, when you get pulled over, don't get mad. Right. When you get pulled over, don't be upset with anybody. There were rules and you should have followed them. Guess what? There's rules in America to owning a gun. You like some guns? You want to carry you a gun? Perfect. Go get you a gun license. States now, you don't need a gun license. In Tennessee, you don't need no gun license. Florida, you don't need no gun license. You want to carry a firearm? Get you a firearm. You get some counseling, take some classes on how to handle that firearm and how to carry it and how to pull it out when you need to and take the safety off. Find out how to clean that firearm and train yourself so that you have the discipline not to just shoot or pull it anytime you get scary. A lot of you niggas out there is scary. You got these guns, you scared as hell, ready to pull it for anything. Get you in that gym and train in case you got to fight a nigga, man. Ain't nothing wrong. You ain't got to pull the gun every time. But if you want to carry a firearm, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. You understand? There are laws that govern every aspect of life in the society. And obeying those laws do not cause you to sin against God. Now, there are laws that go against the Lord. Like what? There's laws about same-sex relationships. Well, same-sex relationships go against God in the Bible. But if America allows it, that's America's business. You're not allowed to have a same-sex marriage because then that would put you in opposition to God. America has laws now where smoking marijuana is legal. Guess what? You can't smoke marijuana because smoking marijuana goes against God. Everybody understands. There are laws. The authorities in this place has established ordinances, and you should not resist them. You should not go against them. You should not rebel against the government. A big one that people have a problem with is the government say you're supposed to pay taxes. Nigga, pay your taxes. I know it's a. I remember before the truth, I was sovereign. I had to pay no taxes. I ain't need no driver's license to travel. I'm a free man traveling on the road. I was studying a uniform commercial code, and I was getting ready to pay to buy my social security card and my birth certificate back. And I was gonna get me a diplomat card and all this other crazy shit. Nigga, you better go get you a driver's license or don't have you no car. You get you a car, get your driver's license, get you some insurance, register your vehicle, or else. Keep reading. Well, no, the end of verse 2 in Romans 13 says, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. Nothing good can come from you rebelling against the authority in this place. Everybody understand? Verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Read that one more time. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. If you obey in the Lord, guess what you have to do with the police in America? Not a goddamn thing. Because the police in America are not a terror to good works, but they are a terror to evil. Right. Everybody understand? If you're obeying God, police won't have nothing to do with you. You won't have nothing to do with them. Right. I talk to police all the time. Talk to police when we go to camp. Talk to police if I ever get pulled over. Talk to police at my job every night, going through security. Guess what? I'm not stealing. I'm not thieving. I'm not harming nobody. I'm just going to my slavery. So me and the police ain't got a goddamn thing to talk about. I get pulled over. How you doing, officer? License, registration. Here you go, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Nah, my seatbelt was on, sir. Okay, you said I was speeding. I'll take the ticket. I'm not gonna sit there and argue with the cop on the side of the road. Right. If I feel like I'm being discriminated against, I'm gonna follow whatever his instructions are. As soon as he releases me, I'm going right to that precinct. I'm filing a complaint. If I'm driving without my license, I get pulled over. Hey, I gotta take that L. I gotta make that phone call to Captain Cahunt and explain to him why the hell I'm driving without a driver's license, and pray he come bail me out. Or you know what I'm saying, let my wife come bail me out. Then I'll explain myself after that, and I'll take the checking because I ain't supposed to be driving without a license because that go against the laws of the land. But I'll do what I have to do. Everybody understand? What you don't want to do is fight and argue and yell on the side of the road and tell the cop he's a devil and he's a pig and he's this, because then you're not respecting their authority. Everybody understands? Living in this land of oppression, knowing these devils hate you and want to blow your brains out, you would think that black people would learn to just, yes, sir, no, sir, okay, sir, if you say so, sir. And you can stand, again, if you're righteous, you serving the Lord. I've absolutely told police, no, you can't search my vehicle. Right. No, because there ain't nothing in here for you, man. I said no. Listen, you want to lock me up, but you're not searching this car. And then if they lock me up and search the car, now I could sue them. Because I know I ain't riding dirty. Ain't nothing in my car. You ain't got to search my car. You can't search my car. And guess what? If they are not a terror to good works. If you're someone who's doing what you're supposed to do, you tell a cop, no, you can't search my car. He'll say, okay, sir. Have a good night. He ain't gonna like it, but who the hell cares? But if you're someone who is doing evil, then guess what? He is there to terrorize you. Keep reading. Romans 13:3. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. If you do that which is good, you'll have praise of that same power that is there to harm evildoers. And ISUPK, we got a good reputation with the police. Why? Because they know that we are stand-up men. We're upstanding citizens. We don't make their job hard. In UPK, we're taught and trained to be professionals, man. I got pulled over about 2 weeks ago. Ran a stop sign. I was wrong, but also this street make it so that I couldn't really see that there was a car coming to my left. But I got pulled over. As soon as the cop pulled me over, now I got a big decal on the driver's side of my car in the back that got the school shield on it. I got pulled over and I rolled my window down, put my hands on the steering wheel. Cop came up. I'm in Memphis, so it was a black cop. And so I'm really pissed off I got pulled over, but I'm like, whatever. So I'm looking straight ahead. He come up on the side of the car. He looking in at me. I'm just looking straight. And he gonna say, "Come on, man." I looked up better, and he just looking at me like, "Man, come on, man. What you doing, man?" I'm like, "Just trying to get home, sir." He said, "You just say the hell with me, huh? You don't even it don't even matter. I'm coming down the road." I said, "Man, I ain't even see you coming." He was like, I see the Israelite thing. I already know what you on. You know what I'm saying? You ready to give me a hard time? Like, listen, so I ain't gonna give you no hard time, man. You know what I'm saying? You got your license on you? Yeah, I got my license. You sure do I need to check it? Nah, you can check it if you want. I told you I got it on me. All right, man. Where you going? I'm on my way to work, man. I'm about to go home and change and try to get to this job on time. All right, man. Get out of here and let me go. Why? Because we got a good reputation. They see that school shield, they see the ISUPK, they know, okay, this is a stand-up person. This ain't a guy that's riding dirty and doing this and doing that.
Right.
So guess what? I don't ever have no problems with the police. There's another situation. Me and my rib was chilling. We chilling outside the house. We in the car. I got 5% tints on my caddy. We sitting outside in the dark. Police pull up on the block. We watch them pull up. And they riding down the block, flashing they light. And we like, man, what the hell they looking for? They pull right up to with the house across the street from where we at, but they pull up right to where we at, and I guess when they pull up, they lights flash and they see us in the car. So they gonna come walk over to the car. I roll the window down like, I know y'all not over here for us. And he was like, they started laughing. He was like, nah, there's two white cops. You know the people across the street? I was like, nah, man, I don't know nothing about what they got going on. He's like, you sure? I'm like, man, I wouldn't lie to you. I was like, we seen y'all come around the corner. I'm sitting here, watch y'all come all the way down the block. I'm glad we wasn't in here doing nothing we wasn't supposed to be doing. And the white dude laughed. He was like, yeah, I was going to tell you, I wasn't going to say nothing. I'll let you finish up. I'm like, man, y'all wild as hell. Get out of here, man. He was like, you know what I'm saying? But they was like, you don't let the people cross the street. Like, nah, man, we mind our business around here. And like, all right, y'all enjoy y'all night. And that was that. Now, if I was doing something evil, or if I was riding dirty, or if I was paranoid, that conversation would never went that way.
Right.
But because I know I ain't got nothing to worry about, the police can't mess with me. I can laugh and joke, and they go about their business. I go about mine. Everybody understands. Romans 13:4. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. That's what the police are there for. The police are ministers of God for good. They are servants of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. If you're a sinner, you should be afraid of the police.
Right.
You should be deathly afraid because they are murderers and they are killers and they are thieves and they are robbers and they are treacherous and they are evil and they are disgusting. Everybody understands. Again, Romans 13:4. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, you selling drugs, if you're getting high, if you're murdering, you're pimping, you're prostituting, you're buying hoes, you're buying a little bit of weed here, buying a little coke, buying a little bit of pills, you want to just get you a quick little flip, guess what? You should be desperately afraid of the police. Sister Shawabah.
So like I said, what does the first part of that mean?
For he is the minister of God to thee for good. The police are servants of God to do good.
Oh.
If you obey God,
then you wouldn't have any issues.
Then the police are absolutely there to serve and protect.
Okay.
They there to do their fucking job. If I call the police, they better come for somebody to die.
Right.
Hey, y'all need to get over here. It's a situation about to go down. Somebody about to die.
Right. Okay.
And the police should absolutely show up. And when they get there, guess what? I'm going to be calm and collective and cool. And I'm going to explain to them what's going on. explain to them why they here, explain to them, what the situation is, and they better do what the hell I tell them to do. Because that's their fucking job.
Right.
You understand? Hey, man, somebody was in the backyard. Y'all need to check back there and find out what's going on, because if I feel like my home is being intruded, y'all gonna get another call that somebody got shot.
Right.
Well, sir, can we come and inspect the house? No, you can't come in here. I told you the problem was in the backyard. You need to go search around back. Everybody understands. You need to go search and find out this and that. Everybody understands. They are there for good. Everybody understands. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he bears not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that does evil. Right. Everybody understands? That's what the police are in this belly of the beast. If you obey the Lord and you do what's good, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. Everybody understands? If you're righteous, you ain't got nothing to worry about. If you are unrighteous, then the police are there to be the devil. Right. And if you don't want to fall into the hands of the devil, then you should do what the Lord said to do. Everybody understand? Now, I started this out by saying this does not excuse police for being evil bastards. This does not let the white man off the hook. So the sister Rakia asked, what about all the innocent people killed by police? Breonna Taylor comes to mind. Not just Breonna Taylor, but you think about Trayvon Martin. You think about Philando Castile. You think about the brother. Who's the brother that got shot selling this? The brother got choked out in New York City. Eric Gardner. Who's the brother that got shot outside the store? He had the red shirt on. They choked him and they shot him in the chest. You think about all those brothers and sisters lost their lives doing nothing. The police were absolutely wrong in all of those situations and those circumstances, right? Oscar Grant, the brother got shot by the San Francisco police at the train station. All of these brothers were murdered by the police. Where were they with God, though? Were they righteous? Were they doing what the Lord said to do? Outside of the moment when they were murdered by evil devils, did they have the protection of God on their side? And the answer to that is no, they did not. So while the devil does not have an excuse, we also must recognize that that's how serious we have to take serving the Lord. Because there's only one way to avoid dying at the hands of these murderers, and it's to obey God. Now, we would never say what happened to them was justified. Right. Or what happened to them is what they got, because they didn't get it. They are casualties of war. Everybody understands. But even casualties of war should consider, how did I become a casualty? Everybody understands? Yeah. Let me know if you understand, sis. Shawabah.
So like this. So does that play into, I know one time in class, you kind of touched on like how innocent kids get shot in like drive-bys and stuff.
Yes.
And it's not that they did anything wrong, but because the people in their community not living right.
Yes.
Because your parents not living right.
Yes.
Like you end up being a casualty of war. So is this like the same
It's the same thing. So the Sister Shawabah bringing up is about children who get shot in drive-bys, innocent people who get killed, innocent people who get murdered, right? They die because we have allowed evil to proliferate in our community. Right. The Lord will allow a bullet to kill an innocent child so that everybody will be pained. Everybody should hurt because this little kid died. Both the shooters and the niggas who the bullet was meant for. Both of y'all should feel the guilt of this child's blood because you niggas couldn't be brothers. You couldn't get beyond whatever evil, whatever anger, whatever issue you had because you didn't know how to forgive your brother. That little girl had to die. That little boy had to lose his life. And now everybody should feel the pain and should say, man, we got to do better. Yeah. We got to make a change, man. Isn't that what brings communities together? All right. The sister said, my question is, how are they under the authority of the Most High if they are evil in their works? Okay, my question is about the point about police having the Most High's authority. Okay, the police have the Most High's authority because if you are obedient to God, they cannot do no harm to you. But they absolutely have God's authority to maintain order in this place. The police are absolutely necessary because there are people among us who are absolutely out of control in their evil. If it wasn't that for police, there would be rape, there would be murder, there would be anarchy, there would be literal, gang occupation in our streets. So the police are very necessary for the state of where black people are today. They are absolutely necessary to maintain order. But what are the police when our people come and serve the Lord and do what the Most High said to do? They are absolutely not needed. Right. Unless those who are righteous and serve the Lord come in contact with those who are evil and don't want to do what the Lord said to do. Then the police are mediaries. They're supposed to be intermediaries. You understand? So all the things that the police do that are wrong, they are only able to do those things to people who are not obedient to the Most High. So I'm going to read back again in Romans 13, verse 2. You understand? This is the police. The police are the authority in America, period. That's how the government was established. Right. And the Bible is saying, be subject to their authority. Again, it doesn't hurt you to do what the police said to do. You're not going to disobey God by following their orders, right? But what happens when you encounter a evil policeman or a policeman that abuses their authority or a policeman that goes outside of the scope of their jurisdiction, which is what I believe your question is? The Bible gives us the answer. Again, Romans 13 and 2. Whosoever therefore resists the power resists the ordinance of God. If you resist the authority of the police, then you are resisting God. What is the authority of the police? You get pulled over, they ask you for license registration, give them the license and registration. That's their authority. Do what they told you to do. They say, could you step out the vehicle? You ain't did nothing wrong, step out the vehicle. They ask, can we search the vehicle? If you ain't did nothing wrong, you can let them search it. If you don't feel like them searching it, say, no, officer, you can't search my vehicle. You don't have any probable cause. There's nothing wrong with you not resisting the police's authority. You learn how to talk to them, learn how to speak to them. Let them do their job, you do your job. Let's say they violate you. Don't argue with them at that time. Don't fight with them in that moment. Get your ticket, your summons, whatever. Immediately go to the court and file a complaint. Immediately go to the court, immediately go to the precinct and file a discrimination complaint against this officer. Right. You go and write that paragraph, you go and do what you had to do, and you wait for internal affairs to call you so that you can go sit down with detectives and explain to them how this cop in this precinct on this date at this time violated all of your rights. And guess what? They're going to get him in a world of hurt and paperwork that he is going to next time pull you over, leave you the hell alone. Everybody understands? And I know how it works because we did it many times in Philadelphia to the point where we don't even have issues with the police in Philadelphia no more. You're in the ISUPK, you get pulled over in Philadelphia. It's, oh, hey, how you doing, sir, Mr. So-and-so? Yeah, is everything all right? Okay, whatever the situation is, we good to go. Everybody understands. We keep reading in Romans 13 and 2. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. The Bible is saying if you resist the authority of the police, you receive to yourself damnation. Why? Because they're ready to kill you. They're ready to be aggressive with somebody that resists them. So just don't resist. Give them what they're asking for. And if you're violated in doing that, then there's a way that you can go to seek justice and the Lord will be with you on it. Romans 13 and 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. If you're somebody that does good works, the rulers are not a terror to you. The government is not a terror to us. The government, who cares what the government is doing? The mayor, the city council, the damn comptroller, who cares what laws or what rules or whatever they pass? If we're doing what we're supposed to do in our community, that ain't got nothing to do with us. The problem in the black community is not the government. The problem is the community ain't doing what the community's supposed to do. That's why we shouldn't have to worry about who's the lawyer, who's running for office, or who's dictating this or dictating that. If we're doing what we're supposed to do, why do we have to care about what the government is doing? What we need to care about is changing the way we're living in our houses and in our neighborhoods and in our communities, how we're dealing with our families. Everybody understands? The sister says, does that also pertain to advocating to change laws? Is that considered resistance? No. Advocating to change laws is you respecting the authority of the system. How do you get laws changed? Somebody got to go petition. Somebody got to go protest. And so if you're someone who's in a position where you can affect change by petitioning and by protesting, then that's the avenue you should take. What you shouldn't say is, we ain't going to obey these laws. That's what the Bible's talking about. Right. The Bible's talking about rebelling against authority. To advocate for change is how the system works. That's the opposite of resistance. But resistance is, nah, I ain't obeying that. I ain't doing that. Everybody understands? All right? Now, keep reading from Romans 13:3. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? If you do evil, won't you be afraid of the power? If you do evil, aren't you afraid of the police? You want to know why all them gangsters that murder and shoot up the hood run when the police come? Because they better run, because they know they're doing evil. It's something that is ingrained in us. It's in our spirit. Them blue and white, red lights come, niggas run. Why? Because they know they doing evil. Right. Even if they not illegal, they know they ain't right with the Lord. Everybody understands? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. If you do that which is good, you'll have praise of the same people that do terror to evil. We have praise of the police in the UPK because we are disciplined, because we're law-abiding, because we don't give police a hard time. We yes sir, no sir, and we firm on them not disrespecting us doing our job and them doing theirs. Everybody understands? Verse 4, for he is the minister of God to thee for good, but if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he bears not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that does evil. Everybody understand? Verse 5, wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. You need to be subject to the authority of the police. Not only for wrath, not only because you're afraid of what God will let happen to you, but also for your conscience sake. Right. You understand? We do everything that's lawful for our conscience sake. So that in my mind, when the police pull behind me, I don't get that fear I used to get when I was in the world no more. Right. And I'm talking about that fear is so palpable. It's so, oh my God, I hope they don't pull me over. My tail light busted. I know I ain't got my license. I ain't paid my insurance. Listen, growing up in D.C., I mean, the police were such terrorists to us. Don't drive on Tuesdays and Thursdays growing up in D.C. after the year 2000. Don't be outside on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Because the jump outs is pulling up. They hopping out. They throwing you on the ground. They talking very greasy to you. Where you going, young nigga? What you got on you? Let me see. Lay down. Pat your pockets. Don't get pulled over by the Capitol Police or Park Police. They're going to violate you. I'm talking about a search on the side of the road like you've never seen in your life. There was a thing they called a grab and swipe. where they going to pat you down, but they absolutely are going to cup your balls
No.
and then take their hand and swipe. This is outside of your pants now, but they absolutely, because I guess the drug dealers are get very handy at cuffing the drugs under their scrotum. So the park police absolutely would grab and swipe. And they would tell you, I'm going to do a grab and swipe. And you got to brace yourself for your scrotum to get fondled and for a very aggressive hand to go up your crotch and to swipe through for him to try to feel if there's any drugs there. And you just, I mean, what you going to do? Because you're just young and black and you could be a murderer. You could be out here selling that dope. And so that's just, we got accustomed to dealing with it. And it wasn't until I came into the truth that I was able to understand that it didn't have to be that way.
Right.
That there absolutely was a way that I could have avoided and found my way outside of all of that if I would have just obeyed the Lord. Everybody understands. Reading on, Romans 13:6. For this cause pay ye tribute also. What is that? Pay your taxes. For they are God's ministers attending continually upon this very thing. Meaning what? They're going to attend on them getting their money. They're going to treat that money like that's God's business.
Right.
You pay your taxes. Ain't nothing wrong. I know you don't want to give up that third of your money every goddamn check. Go pay them taxes, man. End of the year, file your taxes and pay them. Everybody understand? Salaki. Two more verses and we'll no, three more verses. Render therefore to all their dues, tribute to whom tribute is due, custom to whom custom, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor. Give these people what they know. Give these people what they deserve. Everybody understands? Verse 8, owe no man anything but to love one another. For he that loves another has fulfilled the law. Everybody understands? What does it mean to love? To deal righteously with. To obey God concerning them. Yeah. There's a way to obey God concerning the police. Just do it. Just respect their authority. That's all. God ain't saying be no slave. We don't shuck and jive for no goddamn police. Right. Fuck a cop. You fuck you talking about? You got me fucked up, devil. You better stay in your goddamn place. You know who I am. You know who you talking to. You don't disrespect me. You better watch your mouth, officer. We absolutely don't bow down to no goddamn faggot ass police. Excuse my language. Right. Fuck the police. You understand? We don't cower to no goddamn body. But I will respect him in doing his job. And 9 times out of 10, anytime I encounter police, listen, the nigga trying to do his job. Especially here in Memphis. These niggas trying to do their job. I'm letting them do their job. But that's also, I know that I am serving the Lord and my conscience is clear and I ain't did nothing wrong. If brothers and sisters want to have that boldness, they have to know that they are standing on the side of the Lord. Right. Because if you're not standing on the side of the Lord, then the Lord could be standing against you. Everybody understands? Romans 13:9. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. If there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Meaning what? We're closer to the end than what we thought. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. But put ye on the Atawan Yahushua Hamashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. And that right there was Paul describing life inside of the belly of the beast. Everybody understands? With that, we didn't get a chance to get to Hebrews and the scriptures I wanted to bring out there. I might continue this topic, or we'll come back to it another time. But I definitely wanted to be able to get this lesson out there. So we've come to the end of tonight's class. Before we get out of here, if any brothers and sisters got any last questions, Vlad the Kababer asks, I am black albino. Can I join the ISUPK? Where's your father from, Vlad? Being black isn't about your skin color. We're not colorists here in the UPK. Being albino does not mean you're not an Israelite. It depends. If your father's an Israelite, then you're an Israelite. Everybody understands. And let me just clarify something on this topic of the higher powers. You understand? There is going to come a time where we are going to be the government in America. Yeah. As America falls and this white man is proven to be incapable of ruling in a righteous society, we are going to be the mayors and the district attorneys. Right. And the judges and all of those things. So there's nothing wrong with gaining power in this society. There's nothing wrong with being part of the powers. If you're in a position to gain authority in America, to be in a position to be able to change laws and affect change in the government, then the Lord could absolutely use you to do something amazing and great for your people. It is just a very slippery slope that we would caution any brother or sister from endeavoring to enter into that further into the belly of the beast. If living in America is being in the belly, then becoming part of the government is like going into the throat. It's like going into the where the stomach juices gobble you up. Okay. It's a very thin line between and over the years we've heard, from the time of the civil rights, we've heard black people say they're gonna go change the system from within. And that sounds very good in the beginning until you get in the system. And now there's donors' money, there's campaign money, and there's this lobbyist and that lobbyist. And there's so much money from all these places. And you got to really make sure you make good on any promises you make with this money. It's a very compromising lifestyle to be a politician. But it doesn't mean you're evil if you're a politician. You can absolutely be righteous and be a politician. It's just going to take a lot of navigating. So for anybody that's in a position to do something like that, the counsel would be get some counsel. Get some counsel, get some guidance. You're going to you'll be a puppet. The minute you have to come to the men of the Lord for guidance on every decision you make. Right. And you're just there as a mouthpiece for the Lord. Right. But unless you have that type of guidance, you're going to get swallowed up. Everybody understands. But if brothers and sisters, like right now in the school, we're looking for brothers and sisters who are lawyers, brothers and sisters who, got political science degrees. Go up in there, be a lawyer, be an advocate for your people. Go up in there, hell, you could get on some city council position. Go ahead and get that city council spot. And use that city council spot to do righteous, honorable things for the people of the Lord. There's a way it can be done. It's just a very slippery slope. Everybody understand? All right, Vlad, you know where your daddy from? Vlad don't want to join the school, no way. Vlad don't give a damn. With that, with the Israelite School of UPK out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York, since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. In the year 2023, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to find out the truth of who we are, where we come from, what our purpose is here on the earth. We got classes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Address to the Memphis School is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Again, 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. The calling number is 901-249-0085. 901-249-0085. All you brothers and sisters in there, you got family, loved ones, people you care about, get them in contact with the ISUPK. With that, see y'all tomorrow night. Shalom, Israel.